So Asher will be rich primarily because of the olive groves. And they'll use their wealth and their abundance and their blessing to bless others. Now, the most famous member of the tribe of Asher is actually found in the New Testament, in Luke chapter 2. So if you want to turn there with me, Luke chapter 2. Luke chapter 2. Luke chapter 2. Now, this is just after the birth of Jesus Christ. He's a baby. He's about a month old at this point. Joseph and Mary have made a special trip to Jerusalem to make an offering. And Joseph and Mary, they have the baby Jesus with them, and they're in the temple. And look at verse 36. As they're in the temple, it says, "Now there was one, Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was of a great age and had lived with a husband 7 years from her virginity. And this woman was a widow of about 84 years, who did not depart from the temple, but served God and was with fasting and prayers night and day. And coming in that instant, she gave thanks to the Lord and spoke of him to all those who looked for redemption in Jerusalem." So we're told here that Anna, in verse 36, that she was from the tribe of Asher. Which a couple points here that we should note. This shows us that Jews in the time of Jesus still maintained their tribal identity. All Jews today identify with the tribe of Judah. The word Jew is short for Judah. But back then, they still identified by their individual tribes. It also shows that the members of the 10 northern tribes, some of them were still living in Israel hundreds of years after the 10 northern tribes were carried away into captivity in Assyria. Sometimes you hear about the 10 lost tribes of Israel. They're not lost. God knows exactly where they are, right? And here's an example of somebody from one of those 10 northern tribes, Anna. She's from the tribe of Asher. And Anna, look at the verse again, verse 36. She's described as a prophetess, meaning she had the gift of prophecy. She spoke forth the word of God. And she was a widow of about 84 years. This probably means she was about 84 years old, not that she'd been a widow that long. And look at verse 38 again. "And coming in that instant, she gave thanks to the Lord and spoke of him to all those who looked for redemption in Jerusalem." And you should note this. I think this is very important and very applicable to the times that we live in. At the time of Jesus' birth, there was a small number of believers in Jerusalem who were looking for the Messiah to come. Now, most of the people at that time, most of the Jews, most of the people were not looking for the Messiah to come when he came as a baby born in Bethlehem. Most weren't waiting for the Messiah to come when he came. Not even the religious leaders of Judaism were expecting the Messiah to come when Jesus Christ was born. But there was a small group. There was a small group that included Anna that were looking for the Messiah to come, that anticipated his arrival, looking for the redemption of Jerusalem. Just a small remnant who understood the times they were living in, who understood that the Messiah was coming soon. Verse 38 says, "After seeing Jesus, Anna went and spoke of him to all those who looked for redemption in Jerusalem." So evidently, those in Jerusalem who were looking for the Messiah, the Redeemer of Israel, they all knew each other. They found other like-minded believers in town who were also eagerly waiting for the Messiah to come. Isn't it wonderful to find like-minded believers in Jesus Christ? who have the same, zeal for the Lord and zeal for the Word of God as you do. Listen, here's the application for us. We should be eagerly looking for Jesus Christ to come for His church and take us to heaven at any moment. Just like this small group living in Anna's time, that Anna's part of, we should understand the times that we live in. The events that the Bible said would happen in the last days are happening. And over the last 18 months, they have accelerated at a tremendous clip. The stage is being set. The pieces are all coming together like never before. And Jesus said, when you see these things begin to come to pass, that you should look up because your redemption is drawing nigh. Not after they've all come to pass, but when they begin to come to pass, Jesus said, look up, for your redemption draws near. So we should be looking up, watching for, waiting for, eagerly looking for Him to come. But understand, please, that most Christians today are not looking for Jesus Christ to come. Most Christians today are not looking for Jesus Christ to come for His church. Most Christians today are asleep to what is happening in the world right now and blind to the signs of the times that are happening all around us. We want to be part of that small number of Christians who are awake and watching for Jesus to come for His church and to take us home to heaven in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, to be caught up to meet the Lord in the air. And thus we shall always be with the Lord. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 6 says, therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. Others may be asleep right now, but let us not be asleep. Let us watch and be sober. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7, but the end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be serious, be sober-minded is the idea, and watchful in your prayers, and above all things have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. The end is at hand, Peter says, so be serious, be sober-minded. This is not the time to be, a trivial Christian or have a trivial kind of Christian walk. This is not the time to just play church. This is time to be serious and watchful, and above all things to have fervent love for one another. Jesus said, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming. So watch. Jesus could come for His church and take us to heaven today. Please, I like that. May Jesus find us watching and ready when He comes. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of believers that are just asleep, not even thinking about it, not even realizing what's going on in the world. But may we be watchful and ready. My two younger sons and I have gotten in the habit each night when we say goodnight to each other, we'll say, here, there, or in the air. Right? Some of you may remember that saying. Here, there, or in the air. I'll see you here, there, or in the air. Right? Just ready and watching.